Okay, so the first agreement is that this is Derek work schedule, so you get to see Derek in efficiency mode. So definitely, yeah, a little bit different than Derek coach mode. um, and that's totally cool now, but in the future, if everybody can make this, I want this to be 30 minutes. Boom, let's work. Let's get this done. Everybody's busy. Let's get right to it. Create the perfect process for you guys. So I will give you guys my commitment that I'll be here on time every single time, starting right at 11, and we're going to bust it out 30 minutes, get right to it. This doesn't cost you guys anything more. This isn't coaching. This is us working together to create the perfect process over the next 3 months, every other week. So then we get coaching, next week for you guys. And then that's where you get Coach Derek, where I'm a lot more relaxed and asking questions. But in working mode, you're getting Derek goes right to it. So is that cool for everybody?
I like that, Derek.
Hillary and Sarah get to see that Derek a lot, so they know that one. They're more like, wow, you're different when you're coaching, right? So is that cool? Because I'm a little bit different. I just want to have, I still want to be your coaches and all that stuff, but this is not a coaching call. That's this coaching is, we're working on this one. Is that cool for everybody?
Yep.
And if you guys need anything after that, then I would go into coaching mindset. So it's going to be 3 months. This is what we're going to accomplish, is that we're going to go through step by step the process, and we're going to brain trust, and we're going to say, this is the perfect process. You guys don't have to adopt exactly what we decide is the perfect process, but it'll give you the opportunity to go through yours, and you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to riff off and I'm going to do this because I'm Allison and I want to do it like that. Awesome. We're going to be making a collective decision on what's the most efficient way to build your process in there. Is that fair for everybody? But you're under no obligation that you're like, you have to do it exactly what Derek decides to do. But we're going to be looking at this from a perspective of that's needed, that's not needed. This is something that everybody should be doing. This is something that we all need to do. So we're going to be building that through on Process Street. So we're going to build it out as we go. So we're recording these calls, and then that hopefully we've done in the first month or two. There's really 4 parts to the system, the way that I defined it. So today we're going to do the initial client experience. And so that's 1 to 2 months that we'll get through that. The next part then is hiring a perfect team. So we're going to create a perfect team. Everybody has a different name for it. Totally cool. But we're going to create a template for that. And then a perfect hiring process, like what we were doing the other day with you, Jenny, with your hiring process right there. We're going to put that in. We're going to create that into Process Street so that is just done, so that you guys don't have to duplicate every time you want to hire somebody. You can just say up and done. Here's job description. This is how we're hiring. This is how we do it. Boom. And then thirdly, then we're going to create the accountability system around that, which is, so we're going to use Slack for accountability around it, so that when you have these jobs, that they can click it and there's a zap there so that you're getting updated, so you can go have the peace to know that your machine is working. Is that fair for everybody? I was trying to explain that to Sarah and Hillary, yesterday, where I was saying they're me. So the pain that you guys have is the same. I know that pain really well, where you're like, I want to have people helping me build my business, but until you have an exact process and then an accountability system around that process, you really aren't going to feel good until that's done. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Cool. So we're going to accomplish that. And then, so we're calling this level 3 beta. The secondary part to the level 3 in the last couple months or the last couple sessions will be, in level 3, we're going to take over the Facebook ad, the Instagram ad, we're going to do mailings for people. We're going to do the Facebook group, content in there. That's going to be a level that's going to be for somebody that wants to say, build out my Process Street Slack system, which I'm thinking Pipedrive should be integrated with that too. And then, yes, I want you guys to take over the ads and all that stuff too. For me and the ads, I'm not going to be teaching ads. We're just going to do it. I don't even know how I would teach it. So I just know how to do it, and that's the extent of it. I've showed you before, Jenny, right? I really wouldn't even know how to start with that. I've been doing it for 3 years, so.
Yeah, I don't really want to learn how to do it either. So.
Yeah, Allison asked me the other day too. She's like, "Are you going to go over that?" And I'm like, Allison, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. I really don't, and it changes all the time. So it's like, it's just something that I do that's become second nature for me. And then, so I'm going to teach Sarah then how I do it, and then we're just going to do it for people. But we're not going to go into teaching anybody how to do that in this 3-month beta, nor are we going to do that in level 3, nor am I ever going to do it, because that's insane for us. Is that fair for everybody? Allison, do you have any questions around that? I know you had a question around that the other day.
No, I mean, I think I'll just learn how to do it myself at some point, you know?
Yeah, I think you would like it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a weirdo like me, but
right?
Yeah, I mean, I like it, right? Like, I like it. There's no way I could teach it though. So Allison, I think Allison's like me. Like she went and built the thing. I think she'll probably want to do that. But she is an anomaly. I don't think almost any loan officer is going to want to do that and want to learn that part. So, but you guys are like at the end of this 3-month, it's not like we are. The only thing that you're signing on for is 3-month stint, level 3 beta. At the end of that, you guys can choose for your own. You can say, hey, you know what? Like Allison go, that was awesome. I'm going to go, I want to hire somebody and build it myself. Cool. So level 2 will always serve her. Jenny, you and I are straight on what your thing are. You might be like, I'm originating for another year, right? And I'm out or whatever, or I'm in and I want to do this. So nothing's changing. It's not like you have to go to level 3.
It's the great unknown for me, my friend.
but I love that because you own it. That's why I love it. Mm-hmm. Josh, at the end of 3 months, again, it's not like I'm going to put a stake in the ground and say, make a decision now. You're going to be going to level 3. We're going to do it. Like, it's not that. It's you guys are only signing on for level 3 beta. What you'll get out of this is you'll be crystal clear on your system and you'll know how it's documented and all that. That's your benefit. What we get out of it is I think you 3 are some of the brightest minds from a process standpoint. And so I get to create a brain trust and a mastermind around that so that I have the confidence to build that for them, because I know what I did in 2010. But the fact of the matter is the game has completely changed. So I have a little bit of a, hey, wait, I want from you guys to where I'm off on mine, or that's not going to work anymore, or we're not going to do that, or where can we add in an app here that can make this a billion times easier? That's what I'm looking to get out of this, so that I feel really confident after that, being like, this worked for me to 110 million in 2010, but we've upgraded it now to 2019, and this is a 2019 system right now. So that's what I'm looking to get out. Is that cool for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. Does anybody have? I know Allison's driving, so maybe Allison.
I'm almost where I'm getting to, but.
Yeah, Derek, I realized too, I have edited my process street for what Connie and I do right now. So I do have that. I forgot I revised that.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm not using it, but I have it.
Okay, so what I was thinking we can do today really quickly, we are recording this, and so I don't want you guys staying on when there's any work being done. We'll record it and we'll do the updating on any checklist. What I'd love if anybody has initial client experience at their fingertips, that they can go through it real quick. You don't need to explain anything. And then if me or any of you guys have a question instead of going through just the initial part, then just say, hey, I have a question around that, or if you see any inefficiency around that.
Now, when you're talking an initial client experience, are you talking like once they're under contract, or are you talking like when we first talk to them as a lead?
I'm talking, and the initial client experience starts when you get the email that says, hey, I'd like to introduce you to Jenny Stoner. She's a buyer for me. Here's Allison's awesome. She wears pink gear. right? What's your process right then from that moment? And then in the initial client's experience is from that moment all the way through your first interaction with them, the call that you have with them initially. Does that make sense to everybody? It's not loan app, it's not anything past. Like, what do you do from the second you get that email, that message, or that call? What do you do right then all the way through where you've spoken to them for the first time on the phone?
Oh, well, that's not much.
It's actually it's more detailed than you think, or maybe that's something that's holding you back then.
Maybe.
Well, when I think about my process, you know, and I'm starting to put all this in Process Street, like we started a checklist of, I mean, if you get the phone call, right, I usually start a Slack channel with a person's name under leads can be fun. Get that? And we put it there, and then I call them, kind of do the pre-qual with them, and if they'll let me, I do the application. And so once that part's done, you know, it creates a channel a checklist in Process Street that says, okay, get the person put in all clients, assign them to a campaign, get the out to the agent, call the agent, send a thank you note to the agent, you know, and then they're on that CRM, and then the CRM just starts telling me, call them, check in, you know, we have it all scheduled.
Okay, so you use a CRM, I'll say, what do you call it, all clients?
Yeah, it's all clients. And the reason I went with all clients in particular is because I looked at Jungo, I looked at Surefire, Top of Mind, and I couldn't create, like, it was harder to create my own campaign with my own video in it that didn't take them outside of the email, that wouldn't take them to YouTube or that sort of thing. And all clients I could do, they can click on the video, it stays right in their email. And I just did our own personalized videos where it introduces them to the team. You know, our crazy video with the hot dogs. I don't know if you remember that one, but introducing the team and kind of, because my whole belief, my whole belief is if they can know you and like you, you've won half the battle.
Totally.
And so we're just trying to keep in touch with them with our face and the brand and everything like that, so that they don't consider going elsewhere because they feel like they know us.
Do you have this part in Process Street, or do you have it written down? Do you have a checklist for that? What you just said.
What I'm going to do, if you can give me 2 minutes, I'm going to pull my laptop out. I'm here. No way. You're like, screw you. Right.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm going to pull it out. I'll get working on it, and I'm going to switch my Zoom onto my computer, and I'm going to be in a hotspot, so I'm hoping it's going to work.
Okay, cool. So we'll go to Josh or Jenny now, and if you can present that, and then I'll present mine, and then Allison will come to you at the end, and then we'll have this all recorded, and then we'll be good to go for today too. Jenny, you go yours. Right. If you have it written anywhere that we can follow, it'd be better. But if you don't, then
you want me to share my screen with you?
I'd love you to.
Okay. There. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
This is my little test one that I started. So when we get a new lead in, either via email or phone, I reach out to them. I have found that if I just say, hey, are you available to talk at 2:00 today? I get a better engagement. If they can't, then I send them the link to Calendly to tell them to set up a time that works for them.
Cool.
And then I connect with them on social media and make sure I'm connected to the referral source on social media.
Where is that? Okay, so you have that. Now, do you have anything? Do you have a sub list on any of these, or is this your entire list?
This is my entire list right now. I had sub lists on the old one. Let's see. Oh yeah, I do. I have all this is old though. It's not going to be up to date because I haven't.
That's okay.
I haven't edited that.
Yeah.
But I've got like an initial intake. All these are scripted emails that I go from Outlook.
And this right now, I know for all three of you guys might be like, dude, this is my job. I've got it. But in order for you on the road to get the freedom, you know, like maybe a Connie or when you have a licensed assistant, now, like all you have to do is just say, okay, I'm on vacation right now. Here's your checklist of what to do. That's why we're building this part right here. Does that make sense, Josh and Allison on here right now? Okay, cool.
Yep. So I have my updated intake sheet isn't in here though.
Okay.
I haven't updated all that. So I connect with them on social media. Once I talk to them and I do that intake, I text them the link to our mobile app to apply, and then I text them a welcome video from my phone.
Okay, so that's fascinating. That's different than mine, but that's cool. Does that work for you? Like, do you have any? I
have great feedback on it. My welcome video says, "Hey, it was so nice to talk to you today. I just wanted you to be able to put a face with a name. I just texted you the link to the mobile app. Let me know if you didn't get it. We cannot wait for you to experience mortgages with a personal touch."
Is that individual, or do you have that video done, and then you just?
I have it done in my phone and saved in my favorites, and I just text it to them when I get off the phone with them.
Do you have it anywhere that you could share it with us right now?
Let me go get my phone. Hang on. I had to move to the shade because I couldn't see y'all's faces. But my phone's still on the side. Hold, please.
Hold, please.
Please, I'm going over here.
Allison, I'd love to see yours too. So
I don't know how to share it from my phone to y'all without. I mean, I can send it to you in Messenger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you know of a better way.
No, you can share it in Messenger and then we can show it. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on, let me find it. There it is.
You could hold it up to the camera too, and we'd get the idea.
You want me to do that?
You can do that too. Yeah, I just want to be able to see.
Let me take my headphones off. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure my volume's up. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
You stop the screen share though, it'll be bigger for us.
Oh, okay. Hang on. So much technology.
It's fun though, right? It's fun.
Yeah, I'll stop the share. There we go.
I can see it. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Hey, it's Jenny Stoner with Fairway. It was so nice to speak with you today. I wanted you to be able to put a face with a name and to let you know that we're excited about helping you on your home finance journey. I just texted you the link to the mobile app, so be sure to download that and get things started for us there. We look forward to guiding you step by step through this process. We call that Mortgages with a Personal Touch, and we're excited to be on this journey with you. Have a great day.
Okay, so my only thing here, that's phenomenal, Jenny. My only thing here is, does it create extra work for you with you not having a time frame around it? Like, hey, did you do it? Did you get?
That's Connie's job.
Okay.
So, hang on. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I just had a question. That's fine.
So,
you go back to screen sharing there too. Okay, so that's Connie's job. Is that in Process Street right there?
I think so. Hang on. So I send it to them, and her job is every 48 hours. If we haven't seen it, she follows up with them.
Okay.
Let me see if I can figure out how to
see if you have that down. Yeah.
I send them a welcome video. I email or video the referral source, tell them thank you. If it's like a normal referral source, I just send them an email. If it's a new agent, I send them a video just for impact.
Yeah, love that.
I put them in Motivator.
This is all the stuff that I didn't. Mine's always email from my old one, but
right.
This is where videos.
So here's Connie. You can see Connie's little face here.
And then Motivator's your CRM, right?
Motivator's my CRM. Yeah.
Got it.
She does the download app. She fills in any blanks. Let's see if I've got the follow up in here. I may not have it in my Process Street yet. Yeah, I don't have her follow up. It's in my presentation that I did in Florida, but it's not in Process Street. So every 48 hours, she follows up with the client and the agent, letting the agent know that we haven't gotten the application yet and that we've reached out.
I love this right here and there too. So you run DU before you do a mortgage coach for them?
Yes.
That's really smart.
Well, yeah, because I mean, what if they can't qualify?
I know, it's really smart. I think by the end of mine, I knew the people or I got referred, so I don't remember what I did in the beginning, but at the end I didn't have that stuff in there. So I'm glad that
So we learned, we used to have that in a chronological format, and then we learned it was taking too long to get pre-approvals and then have people book with me because my calendar is usually booked out at least 2 days. And so we started doing it simultaneously about 2 months ago. And it puts a little bit of pressure on us from a time perspective, but we feel like it's a better client and agent experience. So what I tell them is when I'm doing the initial call, I'm like, awesome, here's what I'm going to do. As soon as we get off the phone, I'm going to text you a link to our mobile app. If you'll invest 5 minutes just to complete that mini application for us, when you do that, 2 things will happen. The first thing is Connie's going to download that, pull your credit, reach out to you with the documents we need to put a pre-approval in your hand. Our goal is to have that to you in 24 hours. If you'll get us those documents that she asked for quickly, we'll be prompt to respond to you. That's what you're going to need when you get ready to make an offer. At the same time, she's going to send you a link to my calendar to set up an appointment with me, and I'm going to be working on loan options for you. Nice. So we do that simultaneously, so that it's a little bit shorter time frame for the client.
So when you go back to pre-approval, have you done DU and a mortgage coach for them already, or are you?
She does DU. She does all that. So when they download the app, when they apply, she downloads the app, she sends them the homework list, she gathers their documents, she runs DU and LP. And I've put at the bottom of my intake form a couple of programs I want her to check on for them.
Quick, sorry.
Sure.
Why DU and LP?
Oh, or LP, depending on,
okay.
Yeah, depending on what she thinks. Like if they have student loans, you need to go Fannie Mae because of the way they make you do it now. What you have to count the payments.
See, that's different than my dad too. Okay, cool. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah. So she runs DU or LP, and I put on my intake call what programs I want her to check on for them. Mm-hmm. And then she'll send me an email back. She's like, they're good for this. They're not good for this. They make too much money for that. Yada, yada, yada.
Okay, so she's got product knowledge in there too. So this is fascinating too.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I pay her a lot more money than most LOAs, is because she's really a junior LO. That's what she really is. She just doesn't get any business.
Okay, so this is different too. I'm just making note to myself, Hillary and Sarah, that not everybody's gonna have what Jenny has. Like, so she's doing some. This is huge, really. Okay, but I love that.
Relief for me though, because what I found, I tried to do is I tried to find what caused me anxiety, because when I get anxious, I get sick.
Yeah.
And so what I try to do is find the things that made me anxious, and I would start rolling my eyes when I would get a new lead in a year ago.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't want to talk to the new lead, but because all I knew I had to do to get that lead approved. It just made me sick. And so hiring somebody with her skill set that could do all that for me, and then she does all that work, and then I go back to the client and sell the loan. And that for me was freeing. So when I get 5 leads in one day, I don't want to throw up anymore.
That's awesome. No, I'm very excited for you that you have that. Not everybody's going to have this.
No. So she
master schedule. We're going to have to be aware of that. But keep going. This is amazing. Yeah.
So she runs DU LP. She sends out the pre-approval. I've given her authority to do that. And she in the email she puts what they are, the max they're qualified for, but says based on the payment that you told Jenny you want to stay at, this is the price range you probably want to look in with the amount down that you're talking about.
Okay, so how do you deal with nights or weekends if a pre-approval comes in right there?
We do our pre-approvals in a Word doc.
Okay.
And we train our agents that it's editable. They can add the property if they want. They can change the amount if they want. They just can't go up above what Connie puts in the email as their max without talking to us first.
Got it.
And then that way nobody calls me on a Sunday.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, it told me it wasn't working.
Do you get any nights or weekends calls right now?
Very, very few.
Is that because you train them to that?
Yeah, and I teach my agents that I really want to spend time with my family on the weekends. And there was one last month, my loyal agent was calling me about one that she wanted me to save. And she goes, just so you know, we would have called you to start with, but this client needed something on a Sunday, and I know you don't work on Sunday. So I called my other lender, and I'm like, that's fine. That's totally fine. So they just kind of know that.
Yep.
And I'm okay losing that business.
That's exactly how I was.
Yeah.
So that is exactly how I was. And okay, cool.
Yep.
Sorry for interrupting. I just
No, that's okay. So she runs the ULP. She sends the pre-approval. She copies the agent. She tells them what their max is. She tells them what price range they need to look at based on the payment they told me they're comfortable with, and all that's on my intake sheet, so she knows all that.
Okay.
And then she sends them a link to my calendar, and then we have a scripted email that says it's so important for Jenny to go over yada 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 yada. Here's her link to her calendar.
Okay, but just for the yada yada yada, do you have that written down anywhere?
I have a scripted email I can show you.
Yeah.
I don't have it in Process Street.
Okay.
But I do have an. She just sent one, I think. Connie, can you call me after your call? I deleted the one she sent this morning. She just sent like 4 of them this morning. Here it is. Can y'all see that?
We don't see. I don't see it yet.
Oh, I have to reshare.
Yeah, probably.
There it is. You see that?
Just keep it there for a second.
Okay.
We're recording it, so you don't need to go over it. Can you put it up just a little bit so we can see the end of that email? No, yeah, I'd love to see the whole thing right there. Cool. Got it.
So that prompts them to set up a Zoom call. So for example, I did an intake call on one yesterday. They applied last night. She sent the homework. She sent this email with the homework list this morning, and they've already booked a Zoom call for tomorrow.
Okay. Awesome.
And that's how I want it to be, except when I'm sick, and then I need to slow down a little bit. That's what it is.
Cool.
I mean, we started doing this, and we're like, crap, they're doing exactly what we told them. Holy cow!
I know.
So I do have my calendar booked out, so they can't book anything for that day. It has to be a day out.
Yeah.
That gives me time to do the mortgage coach for them.
Got it. And is that LO to team lead handover checklist? Is that after you've locked, or is that?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's just something different. That's after they go to contract.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to go that far yet.
Okay, that just happened to be what was on the screen.
All right, cool.
All right, so let's see what Process Street is. I think that's it. Like, she sends them the calendar link. She'll send me an email back that says, here's some things to think about when you're doing their mortgage coach. They can't do this. They can do this. You got to lock them Fannie because of student loans, et cetera, et cetera. And then she sets them up on a motivator campaign.
Can you just click through those? Do you have any dialogues or anything in there
If I do, they're not right, because any of the dialogues would have been what I did a year ago.
That's fine. I like anything really, just to get an idea. Keep that there for just a second so it records.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's good.
She sets up the motivator campaign. She emails me about different loan options. Then I prepare a mortgage coach.
And then do you have have Zoom call with client? Do you have your questions, or do you have?
No, I just go over. I go over the loan options with them in Zoom and just let them ask questions. We edit things on the spot if they're like, "Whoa, 500 scares me. Let's take that to 400."
Yeah.
We'll edit that, and then when we're done, I email them a link to view it at their own pace. So I do tell them in the beginning, don't worry about taking a bunch of notes. That I'm going to email this to you when you were done, so you're going to have all this.
Do you have any dialogue at the end to get them to lock right there?
Well, at this point, they haven't even found a house.
Okay, so you're just doing a purchase checklist too. But let's say that this was a refi right now.
No, I suck at that. I could use some guidance there for sure.
Okay.
But last year I did 100 loans and 96 of them were purchases. So.
Well, if you decide to stay in and you want to get to 250, and then you go, Derek, I want in and I want to do that.
I definitely need one, but I don't have it.
Yeah, you'll need that, and then that's where your other 100 to 150 come from.
Yep.
Right there. So you look really solid from a purchase perspective, but like refi perspective, you'd want to have some.
Yep. The only thing I have for a refi is I have a refi intake call sheet, but that's it. Okay.
Do you have that anywhere just to share it for 1 second?
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, it's inside Citrix, and I can't be on Zoom inside Citrix.
No problem.
So.
Yeah.
And Jenny, I want a copy of just what you had here because I just want to look at it. Can you send me a copy of your checklist?
Yeah, I mean, it's old. It's not polished.
It's okay. I'm just looking at it for ideas.
Can you do you mind when we do that to start a chain too? Because I want all of us to share here too. Do you mind sending that on email?
No, not at all.
Put it through Gmail to everybody or something.
Yeah, and I think I should start a level 3 Facebook group so we can make that even easier.
Can you export a checklist like to import into Process Street, or no? You have to.
I think you manually have to do it. You can just, as far as I've seen, you can just print them, like I sent to you. But I've never seen one that you can import. And maybe if you talk to Process Street directly, they could figure it out. But
they did it for me last year when I signed up. I had a checklist like in Word or Excel, and I sent it to them, and he started one for me in Process Street, and then I was able to edit it from there.
Cool. So let's use email for right now. I'll start a level 3 beta Facebook group so that we can make it easier, and then we'll have a file section. But for this moment, let's do that.
Yep.
Jenny, thanks so much for sharing. Josh, let's go to you real quick. If you have, in the interest of time, you can go really quick. And if you have any,
that's good. Mine isn't nearly as complex as either one of theirs. So I will share.
So Jenny, you have to stop screen sharing.
My lead intake one is not very complex, Josh. It's like 8 steps.
I don't even have a checklist for it. I have mine kind of mixed into one master checklist, which isn't very good. After seeing your guys's, I think I'm gonna. So yeah.
Jenny,
that's what we're doing this for, right?
Are you able, Jenny? Are you able to click stop share?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
So okay. So.
Thanks for sharing that, Jenny.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. And
I'm gonna mute myself so you don't have to hear me cough.
Okay, there we go.
So is this the only place you have it still in a presentation? Do you have it in?
Yeah, I don't have a checklist. I mean, I could show you my checklist though, which mine is very similar to what theirs was.
Okay.
So not really anything new there, but so my checklist, I've got, the extra stuff here, like the mortgage coach, recording the LE. One thing I'm doing a little different on my mortgage coaches is that.
But hold on, just for my own knowledge, LE is what I used to say GFE, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So when is that? When do you do that? You say record LE.
So when we do the disclosures, then I'll get on and record a narration of it and send it to them.
Okay, well, let's go through yours right from the top. Just go really quickly because that's like coming in. It messed with my mind. Like if you can just do like right from the top, just like you can riff it. You don't even need to.
So lead intake, this one isn't really a lead intake, but in my Process Street, I have these things which are intake things, at least the mortgage coach one is. So that's where I have that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that checklist that Jenny had to keep track of the steps, because the only place I have it is here. I don't have a checklist for it.
Okay. And then that's pretty much my notes from my presentation, from what I used to do, right? With some differences in there. Well, somebody writes you an email and says, "Hey, Josh, I'd like to introduce you to Tim Smith." What do you do right then?
I'm calling him.
You call him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you do? Like, even start with, you get the email. What do you email back?
If they give me a phone number in the email, I'll just call them.
You just call them blind?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because normally it's like hey, let me introduce you to my lender, Josh. He's awesome. He's going to reach out to you. Here's all his information. And so I'll just call him right from there. And if I miss him on the
call, I would encourage you to play. This might be one of the things that's keeping you working late and night too. But it does come from an abundance thing if you don't set that frame right there. But go ahead. So I'm not supposed to be coaching right now, so I'm going to shut up.
So I don't know where my thing went. There we go. So So if I miss them when I call, then I'll reply to all on the email.
Okay.
And I'll say here, I love Jenny's thing about, can you do it at 2 first? Because normally I'm saying like, here's a link to my schedule, book something that works for you. Can't wait to connect. Can't wait to help you get into a home. So, but I do try to call first. But
Okay.
then if I don't get them, I'll leave a voicemail to that effect, and then I'll reply to all on the email so that the realtor knows that I reached out.
What's the next step? So you talk to them, like, what do you talk to them about right then? Just give me broad.
So then I'll just, kind of hear where they're coming from. I'll ask them if they have any questions that have been weighing on their mind. And, usually that will prompt them to say, well, I'm just concerned about whatever. I have a house to sell, or I have, my debt ratio, I don't know, or my credit score, whatever it is. And I'll have a conversation around that. And then I'll just tell them next steps. Okay, the next step is we need to get a credit application. We need to collect some income and asset documents, and I can, I have an online app, or I can.
So my encouragement for you is to have this fully done, which we will. I'll have a template for that even after this call within a week. But I would encourage you to have that fully done on a checklist, and you follow it to a T, because really quickly, that's how Jenny can take 5 applications in a day and still smile. Like with where you're talking right now, I don't think you could do 5 applications and still smile right now. No. So this is a big area of improvement for you right here, is what I see that. Do you have anything to add on here?
The only thing I think I do different than what they're doing is when I don't do a Zoom call. Like the other day, I had a couple that they both worked all day, and I had to talk to them on the phone at lunch. They were both outside, so we couldn't do a Zoom. So when I can't do a Zoom, I'll record a screen capture of the mortgage coach with me going over it and explaining it, and upload that to Vimeo and send that to them and CC the agent. Yeah. So whenever I can't do a Zoom call for whatever reason, I will do that with the mortgage coach. But other than that, I don't think I'm doing anything different that they're not.
Cool. Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing. Allison, are you in a position to share?
Yep. Okay. Share screen. Okay. I'm just going to take you through what we do when we get or whatever, and we can go from there. So this is for loans in process, and then this one is leads can be fun channel. So they're separate channels.
Can I see how that shows up on Slack real quick?
Sure. So leads can be fun, or this is my loans can be fun channel, and it's thinking, obviously.
Really quickly, do you have feet? Oh, because you're in a.
I'm in a hair salon.
You're in a salon. Got it. Okay.
So.
I was like, who's watching Jerry Springer in the back?
Yeah, they've got the stereo. I'm actually just sitting here in my trailer. It's okay. Sorry. Okay, so we're just gonna have to go with leads can be fun. So one of the things we do is, you create the channel, put the name in, and I actually have them put in here whether it's hot, warm, cold, credit challenged as the purpose, so that I know which campaign to assign.
Can you start really quickly from the top? Hi, Allison. Johnny gave me your name and number. What do you do right then?
I start talking to them.
You start talking to them. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like when I get a lead, I kind of do what Josh does, where I just call them if I can, or I schedule a time with them and have a conversation and get them pre-qualified. And if they let me do an application, I do the application.
So this might be an area of improvement. I know I'm not supposed to be coaching you either, but this might be something for you to get tighter on. This will help out on your time. Like, you're so process driven. I would have that one even process driven. It does take an abundant mindset.
Well, one of the things that at this point, I haven't had anybody that can really help me. And so, but we were talking yesterday and kind of came up with a strategy. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday. So I think this will change slightly.
Okay.
How we go about some of this, because I've started forwarding all my calls to my office so they get right to me immediately. And going to have other people that know how to take an application and do a little bit of that. So,
cool. So somebody reaches out, you do what Josh did. You kind of talk to them right then.
Yeah.
And then what do you talk to them about? And then when do you start a Slack channel?
I mean, pretty much when I get off the phone with them, I start a Slack channel, put all the details of the conversation in there.
Yeah.
And when I start the Slack channel, it starts a checklist in Process Street.
Can you do a fictitious Smith file right now, or is that going to mess
Sure.
you up?
Nope, that's fine.
Fake Smith. This is my buddy Fake Smith.
There you go, Fake Smith.
And he's hot too.
He's hot. So I just be like, referred by so-and-so, you know, Joe Schmo, whatever.
Yeah, this is the upper level stuff though. This is amazing.
So I do this, and then let me find, I thought I had Process Street open. Maybe I do. Okay. So then when I do Joe Schmo, you guys can all see my screen, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So when I do Joe Schmo, it hasn't shown up here, but it comes into this template. Let me refresh and see if it's going to show up or not. It takes a minute, obviously.
I remember there's lag usually with it.
Okay, there's Fake Smith.
Oh, cool. Let's see what Fake's doing.
And so then this is my checklist for any lead. You know, create contact, and it tells them add a borrower's name, everything they can. Okay. And then I have a video here that shows them how to do these things and explains what things matter. Like,
is that anywhere? Like, is that on Process Street? Can we see any of that?
Okay, so today I'm going to show you real quickly how to add a contact to all clients. This is all clients. I go to contact.
Oh wow, you've got a training video. That's awesome.
and I have it step by step too, but I feel like
We're not seeing it because you went to some. Can you screen share over there?
I thought you.
No, we're not seeing it.
Oh.
We're just seeing Slack.
Information, we love it. We do want the source as much as possible because we can sort by this. So
Do you see that?
No, you have to stop screen share and then click like your desktop, so it'll show everything.
So I'm gonna have to go back here and do my hair. So hopefully it keeps going.
Awesome.
You don't see it?
Now we see it.
We see it now.
Okay, so create contact in all clients. That's number one when Fake Smith starts. Now, do you put your notes on your initial call in the Slack channel?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your communication mechanism, and that kind of takes out notability, then, right?
Yeah, I don't have notability.
And you don't have a need for it then.
Not really.
Because
I can do it on my phone.
You're using Slack for the
all communications.
Got it. No, I'm all about cutting things out if we don't need to put them in. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. So you have.
So I have that, and you know, all the things that I care about that I want in all clients goes here.
Can I see ad source? Can you just go through it so you can?
It doesn't have anything, you know, ad referred by, ad real estate agent, because I just want to make sure that they know. You know,
of course, yeah. And now
each step, and then here's another video with how to add the action set, you know, in the campaign.
Brilliant.
Email opt-in. Here's the steps of how you opt them in. I have a video of that too, and I think it's actually on this one. You know, send pre-qual if possible, contact agent, let them know the status, and add the borrower to my lead sheet. And it's
is this to remind you, or is this for your like LOA?
Most of this will actually be on my admin.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, all of this will be on my admin. And so the send pre-qual, she's actually supposed to be responsible making sure that the loan officer gets that out. Like that's her job.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And that's just for the leads. And that's kind of how we've set it up so that, you know, like if we go back here and look at some of these other ones, you know, all the communication, where they came from and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What's been going on with it, or that's.
So in Fake Smith, do you have anything that you're getting a notification back? Do you have like an accountabilities app?
When they've done it?
Yeah.
I can just add a step down here that says it's been completed.
Okay.
And it emails me.
Okay, so you don't do it as a zap to sale to.
Not yet. I mean, we set this up probably a month ago.
Email works too. It's fine. Yeah.
And it's been me doing a lot of this just because my gal quit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been having to do a lot of this.
Okay.
But once it's all on the admin, it will be like, you know, send a zap when these things are done and
yeah,
that sort of thing.
Okay, cool. So FakeSmith comes up. That's your initial checklist on FakeSmith.
Yep.
What happens then? So what's your?
And they're supposed to archive this checklist, so I'm not sure why it's not on here. I think I did some. Well, there's supposed to be something down here that says archive them. Or archive. Oh no, I had them take out the archive checklist because then that one was sending a zap saying to archive the channel, and I didn't actually want them to archive the channel in Slack.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to. It's we're still working on making it work.
Then, so you've talked to the bar, you've done all this stuff. Do you do a mortgage coach type second? Like,
so I don't. I mean, I basically talk to him and get him kind of nailed down, and then I'll talk to him about like locking the rate and that sort of thing. I don't do the mortgage coach thing.
Okay. So is that part of is it a 2-call system or is it what's
Yeah, it really is. Usually we get the application in because the contract comes in a lot of times at a different time.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get the contract, then we call them back and structure it and submit it,
Got it. Cool. Does anybody have any questions for Allison around this one?
I love that you guys get
hilarious.
Hair done.
This is hilarious, buddy.
I have one question about the communication. So, like, as you're talking to the client or anyone on your team is talking to the client, do you keep those notes in the Slack channel or in your CRM somewhere?
Yep. So like, let me see if I can find somebody that we've had a conversation. I put a pre-qual together for Michelle. She's planning on having someone live with her, so she'd go up to 1,200. We put all that kind of stuff in there so that if anybody else gets that phone call, they're not flying blind with what has been going on with it.
This is brilliant too.
Every communication that we have or everything we do, we're supposed to be putting stuff in here. Hey, we've asked for W-2s. This is the realtor we're sending it to. I mean, this is really, we just communicate all through here.
Yeah. I love this stuff. That's how we run our business too. And it's just so easy and fun. But the other thing is the functionality on it. So if you need to put any videos or pictures or screen shares or anything, you can do that there where you can't do that well in email.
And one thing, like on our actual, I don't know if we'll pull it up, but on our actual loans, we put I have a loan summary sheet that everybody has to fill out in the beginning of, contact information. So then when I'm out and about, if I have to call somebody, it's sitting in there, phone numbers, emails, all that stuff is in Slack.
Nice.
So, here's your phone number type of thing. And
yeah. I love that in there. Jenny or Josh, being that you don't use Slack right here, do you see a value prop for using it right here?
Yeah, because right now I have some on in-process files. I have some notes in Process Street if it's like a processing related, and then some notes in Motivator in the CRM. And so it's like, if I don't see it in Process Street, I'm like, well, I feel like I have to check the CRM too before I call the, you know what I mean? But whereas if you're just using this, I definitely see a huge value in that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jenny?
We do all that she's doing, we do in Motivator.
Yeah.
So Connie can see all the notes. And the problem is we talk to so many people each day, all those notes don't get put in there. We just aren't, we aren't as disciplined about putting every phone call and every,
it is a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, this morning I did a Zoom call with a client, and then I send that follow-up email saying, hey, it was nice to talk to you. Here's the link to your presentation. What I should be doing every time is copying that and putting it in Motivator. So if ever she wonders if I did a Zoom call with them, she can go in there and see. But with the capacity we have right now, I can't do it. So we do use Motivator for a lot of that. That was the biggest pushback from my team on Process Street is they're having to go to 2 places to see it. Some things are in Motivator, some things are in Process Street. So that was one reason we didn't really implement it like I wanted it to start with a year ago.
Yeah,
can you easily see the notes in Motivator when you're not on your computer?
Yeah, we have a Motivator app now, so I can see it on my phone now. Okay. That's new. That's just come out in the last month or so.
Yeah, because I left Motivator, like I told you. And it probably would have been fine if I had stayed with it and all my other systems had been up and running, but.
The only thing Motivator won't let me do though is it won't let me have a checklist that I can I mean, I need Process Street for that to assign the checklist piece, because right now Connie and I are meeting twice a week going, all right, what do we do on this one? And what do we do on that one? And we spend an
I
hour.
think for you, Jenny, on the Process Street, you could have a thing that said, Zoom call completed.
Right.
And you check it off, zaps back to Slack.
I mean, I definitely think we're gonna have to go to Process Street. It's just where we put all those notes is still kind of nebulous to me, because Tom really wants us to use Motivator, and he goes in and checks.
Yeah, I started using notes inside of my.
Hold on. And I get that always on top, for the purpose of us to.
Right, doesn't matter.
Well, it's not that either. The only thing that I want is the truth, and the truth to me is what's the best. And I don't want to put any, if Slack Process Street's not the best, I don't care. I want the best, right? I'm not built into anything. So
I think it probably is. It's just that Motivator's provided to me, and I'm in the branch with the owner of it, so I have to use Motivator on some level.
Yeah, remember, nobody has to do anything that we.
Right.
But I think just stepping out of any political situation and just being like, hey,
Right, Slack and Process Street are probably the best two choices.
Okay, that's all. I'm just curious for that.
And I've wrestled with that too, Jenny. To jump in, to piggyback on that, I think Motivator does a lot, but it also it's a little slow, and I think the app has been a great addition. But I'm wrestling with that. What do I use? Process Street. What do I use? Motivator. I feel like we need a CRM. I mean, I think.
Here's my 2 cents on that, having done Motivator and leaving it.
This is the best picture, by the way. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Recorded.
Hey, you're just lucky to have me, all right? So,
and I want that. That's the video right there. And you're just lucky to have it.
So I started keeping notes in my CRM and in Slack, and then I got thinking, I'm doubling up the work, because there's no reason I ever have to get rid of Slack. I can archive a channel and I can pull it back up if I need to go see that information. And chances are I'm probably at some point going to change CRMs. Who knows?
It's also important for mobility from company to company too, because if I leave Fairway, I don't have Motivator.
And that's the part that all you guys are at Fairway. I forgot about that. But can we just have also agreement that anything we speak about here right now is completely confidential?
Yeah.
Can we have that? And it's
Elaine says she's going to tell.
I'm going to tell everyone.
It's confidential and recorded.
You have my promise, Hillary. Make sure that when we put this up, this is a closed. This is not a. This is a close. This is only internal. And then you guys also have, if you give me that courtesy to anything that I speak about, that you guys keep amongst yourselves too, because
I feel like I'm probably going to use Motivator from contract to close, and then as my basic CRM.
Okay.
And then I'll probably go to Slack and Process Street for my checklists and keeping up with leads through contract.
Let me ask you this question. This is a total political question. I just want to know the answer to it, though. If you happen to, God forbid, let me say it like this: Fairway gets sold, and it's Johnson & Johnson now, or something like this, and you decide to do something else. Could you still use Motivator, or does Motivator stay with that?
Right now, Motivator is proprietary to Fairway.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Right now.
You said that with a smile. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always talks amongst them on going elsewhere and selling and making some money, but they're not ready to do that yet.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So it's fascinating. Allison just didn't drink the Kool-Aid, essentially, right?
Right. She's not in the office with him, and best friends with the co-creator.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I'm just trying to get it in my and also explain it. That I'm just talking through this so Sarah and Hillary kind of get this too. So, Allison did not drink the Kool-Aid. Josh seems like a little bit drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, here's the thing. I think I wanted a CRM, and I liked that it was different than every other company's CRM, because most of the top companies in my area use Surefire, and so I like that it's not Surefire, and so But what I'm still not 100% clear on, but I'm getting there, is what do I want to use the CRM for? I feel like it's true that
that's the key question that I want to ask all of you guys right now. I want to hear an answer from everybody. This is the answer I want to hear. What do you use CRMs for? And then what are the benefits of your current CRM? But what is the purpose of a CRM for you?
For me, a CRM is keeping my clients' information, their loan details, and being able to send them emails. And
so it's campaigns, automatic campaigns.
Yep.
And then inside there, you have your own videos that you've built. Yep. Right? We'll get to that in the next, but I just want to get a precursor to that. Okay, cool. Jenny, what do you?
Mine's is similar, to keep up with all the leads and current clients that I have, being able to communicate with them. I'm iffy on the campaigns. I think they're more spammy than anything. If I could do my own, I would love it.
You can't do your own.
I can't put video in Motivator. No, okay, it has to be I mean, they have plenty to choose from, and they're good campaigns. They're better than most campaigns because Kelly wrote them and it's more personable. But in my opinion, a video from me would be better. I can't put videos in Motivator. But it's an excellent tool for contract to close, communicating with the client, both agents, the attorney, all of that. That's excellent. That's what I love most about Motivator.
The in-process campaign. So it has like an automatic email campaign that updates everybody when you have a loan in process. So you could do that in Process Street, it looks like, but I don't think it would be as nice. And I don't know if you could do a video in there. I don't know if Allison knows the answer to that. But
real quick, so Allison just said,
what did you say?
Can you put a video in the emails that you can send from Process Street? Can you embed a video in that email?
To send to clients?
Yeah.
I kind of remember we thought about trying that, and I don't think it worked for some reason, but I'd have to look back into it. We kind of we manually fulfill like the emails for the most part.
Let me ask one more question too, Allison, before you go. I want to hear your answer too. In your guys' system, does anybody use Pipedrive, or do you see Pipedrive?
Not yet.
Why? I
don't need it.
I use Motivator for what Pipedrive does.
So Motivator takes what Pipedrive does.
Yeah, Motivator sorts my leads by new lead, working lead. New lead means I've gotten them, but they haven't applied. I've talked to them, or they've been referred to me, but they haven't applied. Working lead means they've applied and Connie's working on their pre-approval. We're waiting on docs. Yeah. And then prospect is Connie sent out a pre-approval and they're pre-approved and out looking for houses.
It does the same thing. It just doesn't look as cool.
The only thing that I want...
So functionality is the same.
Yeah.
The only thing I thought about using Pipedrive for was so that I could give a realtor access to where their thing is in the system, but we keep them updated so much during in-process. It's just maybe for the leads that haven't converted yet. But that was the only thing I found that would be beneficial.
Got it. Cool. Anybody else have anything? This was awesome. It's recorded. We'll go back through it and we'll detail out, and we'll have a master done by the next one that we'll share with you guys. And again, the master is just going to ultimately be me being like, I've listened to these three and this is what we're going to endorse. This is how we're going to endorse it. I'll present it to you guys on the next meeting, and then we'll get right to the next step. Is that fair for everybody? Everybody got the file flow on this thing?
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So you're going to send us like the template of the Slack channel and the process checklist that we went over today. So we shouldn't be
doing the Slack channel. We're not going to build it. We're going to do the Process Street checklist based on what my system. I'm just going to go through this again. I'm going to go what I did in my system. What I got some new ideas on this, and then what are we going to endorse as a company as the system that we would build for somebody. So I'll present that to you. You know, that'll take me a couple hours to do. So I'm going to rewatch this and then build that.
Derek, you want us to email you like the Process Street thing that I
would
have?
love it if everybody could.
Great.
If anybody has anything, email, and I am going to create a level 3 Facebook group so that we can share this easier.
Yeah.
And
mine's going to be a combination of a Process Street that's not really up to date, and then my presentation was new leads in California. So the two of those together, you should be able to get a pretty clear view of what I do.
Awesome. And so I'll start next time. I'll present it just for you guys. Okay, this is what we're going to endorse for the initial client's experience. Okay, now we're in. Now you decide to lock. Now we're going to go lock to whatever the next place is, and we're going to all present that. And then we'll do that again so that we have a full, from the minute that somebody leaves, that contacts you guys all the way through post-closing. We'll have that done in a process street checklist within a month or two.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get it in there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to use some brain cells on this one too, so it might. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but we'll get it. And cool. Anybody else have any parting shots or final comments or anything? Everybody get the file flow on this thing. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I think this is going to be super beneficial for you guys after the 3 months are done. And you guys have an amazing day.